job ain't finished. The job ain't finished. Make sure you come ready to go this next week.
How about those?
Are you ready for the best Kansas City Chiefs insight? Welcome to the Four Guys in a Bar podcast, presented by Chiefs Blitz and sponsored by Eric Haynes with the Eric Haynes Group. If you're looking for a real estate expert, call Eric Haynes today at 816-729-3785. That's 816-729-3785. Now here is your Chiefs Blitz host, Nick Athan, with Lou Montagna, Andre Tillman, and Hense Todd.
Welcome back to the next edition of Four Guys in a Bar. I'm your host, Nick Athan. It's going to be a two-guy show today with the other senior member, Mr. Lou Montagna. But before we get started, let's talk about our sponsors who make the wheels turn here at the Chiefs Blitz podcast, Four Guys in a Bar. First up, Mr. Eric Haynes with the Eric Haynes Group. If you're looking for a trusted real estate advisor, give Eric a call today at 816-729-3785. He helped Emily and I find a house. It was a long, arduous process. Took 9 months, a lot of ups and downs, but he was there for us every step of the way. And that's what you need if you're going to buy or sell a house. So if you're looking in the greater Kansas City metropolitan area, you can click on his link and you can see all the homes he has listed right now. Call him today, 816-729-3785. Or you can email him at esaleskc@gmail.com.
Proud sponsor of Chief Who?
That is correct. Another proud sponsor is my incredible, amazing wife, Emily Athan. Open enrollment has started. What does that mean? If you have a health insurance plan and you're looking at either a government option or a private option, Emily has one available through United Healthcare. She can also guide you through the marketplace and to see if they can find the right plan for you, your family, small businesses, whatever it might be. You know, this is the window, November 1st through December 15th. Get a custom quote today. Call her at 913-215-9086.
Emily.
That is right. And also our new sponsor, Resell Electronics. They buy and sell consumer electronics. So if you're looking for a cell phone, tablet, laptop, game console, games, TVs, home audio, whatever it might be, this is your one-stop shop. Hey, they've got great deals. Plus, if you tell them the Chiefs Blitz sent you, you get a 10% discount on your entire order. So you want to make sure you take advantage of that for the holidays. They've got two locations, one on Nolan Road and one on 40 Highway in Independence. So you can call them today at 816-886-7285, or you can check out their website at Resell Electronics with a C. That's resellelectronics.com.
Resell.
That's right. It is election day. Hope you voted.
Hey now.
If you love politics, you're going to be up till about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, would be my guess, before we get any kind of reasonable results. So we'll see what happens.
Let's go. Remember,
Let's go.
Vote early and vote often. Let's go.
Yeah, vote often. Yeah, absolutely. Let's hope just one ballot per person.
Don't be shut out. Don't be shut out. Let's go.
Yeah. Okay. That's the only politics we're talking on this show.
Yes.
Lou, what's up, my friend? How are things going there in the
it's a wonderful day today. We hit nearly 80 degrees. Wow. There was gusts of wind. I mean, it was just we've had a very odd, I don't know if it's politically correct, but Indian summer. Are we allowed to say that?
You can say that.
It's been, we've had a little bit of a mix, but there hasn't been a bit of snow or sleet yet. So that's always a plus.
Oh, that's good.
I thought really over the weekend that the Buffalo-Miami game was going to get impacted by weather, but it was just kind of windy, but the sun was out. Beautiful. Now it'll go back down. Like tomorrow it'll be in the 50s, but today was just like a summer day.
Yeah, we had tornadoes and heavy rains yesterday, all afternoon into the wee hours of the morning. So that was our first, I think that's our first experience with tornadoes that were relatively close to us, but no damage here, just a lot of leaves on the ground, that kind of thing. So
knock on wood, they got the game in.
Got the game. I didn't have any service interruptions. Now I got to call you out because I was about a minute or so behind, and you put a post on our social media about that's a man catcher, that's a man player.
Oh, sorry.
And it was still second. It was still second and goal.
Sorry.
before.
Well, usually mine's mine too, because I have YouTube TV as well. So
I had to. I was somehow paused. So I don't know what happened. So
Yes.
I was a good minute or so behind.
Blame it on the
over.
8-year-old.
Yeah, no, he was fast
Yeah.
asleep. He watched the first quarter, about the time that D-Hop had that amazing catch, and he said, "Daddy, he caught it. He caught it." And I said, "No, he didn't." I said, "Yes, he did."
Yes,
So he,
so the trade deadline is coming past.
yes. Let's talk about it first before we get into that.
Yeah, sure.
The trade deadline, obviously, Marshawn Lattimore, the Saints cornerback, was rumored to be a high profile candidate to potentially switch to the Chiefs. The Chiefs did make an offer. It was a 5 to a 4. However, the Washington Commanders came in over the top. They gave a third, fourth, got their 6th round pick back. They traded to them in the offseason, and they gave up a 5th plus Lattimore. And the deal with the Chiefs, from what I was told, is that he would have to restructure the final 2 years of his contract, where he was owed 18.5 and 18 million respectively. I'm not sure he did that with the Commanders, but the Chiefs weren't going to overpay. Right. And, kudos to the Saints. They played this very well. The Ravens were involved. The Detroit Lions were involved. The Chiefs and ultimately the Commanders seemed to be the favorite, in the late morning hours. So he's not a Chief, and Kansas City didn't make any other moves. And so there's no new cornerback. Let me put it this way. There's no new cornerback coming back. But there's a potential that one of their injured cornerbacks could be back in December.
Yeah, but I guess just like, the draft or any player, you're going to have a particular value on that player.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what we'd be willing to give up to get this particular player. And then the other consideration, of course, is the actual compensation to the player, not the other team. That usually is the easy part. But then figuring out, the salary cap, not just this year, next year, the years after that, how that's all going to fit. So, I would imagine Brett had an idea. This is the offer.
Mm-hmm.
We can't go beyond this. We don't want to go beyond this. And Washington, both sides stuck to their guns. I mean, Mickey Loomis, it's his fiduciary responsibility to get the best deal he possibly can, especially if they need draft picks. So they got more draft picks from Washington than they did from Kansas City. And hopefully, and usually it's younger fans that we get into these situations, whether it's a draft pick or a trade, it's almost, oh, geez, we lost.
Right.
We didn't lose anything. We made our best offer. It didn't work out. We move on.
Yeah. And that's the thing too. You make a great point. I mean, in this offseason, this goes all the way back to free agency. Oh, we could have signed this guy, or we could have traded for this guy, or, we could have given up that 6 or 7. Well, the Chiefs have given up a lot of 6 and 7 round picks over the years. It just didn't work out. And again, are you going to pay him before you pay Trent McDuffie?
Yeah, there's a lot of considerations where Washington is in a little bit better position.
Mm-hmm.
They obviously, feel like they're in good position to win that division and go into the playoffs, or otherwise they don't make this deal either. Because it was interesting. I think there was something up. I think Mango might have put it up as well. There was some talk about them putting Emmanuel Forbes, a former first-round pick of their own, the Commanders, up in trade consideration. So it's like, okay, they were kind of sold like this small corner isn't really going to do it for us. We need a big corner. So they went out and got him. And kudos to them. But again, Veach did make moves. We saw two of them playing significant roles. Not one more than the other.
Right.
And I think Uche might have played like 9 plays, but I think he made a couple of tackles on those.
Yeah, he almost had a block punt too.
Yeah,
really close to a block punt.
So again, pump the brakes a little bit for those of you. Now, again, not everybody thinks like this, but there is a big percentage of fans. Usually, I think the younger fans just see it as, a missed opportunity. We didn't go all in.
Right.
Be careful with the all in talk, because it's not always as simple as just making a move just to make a move. He was strategic. He got a very young, excellent pass rusher, and he got a Hall of Fame wide receiver that you saw what he can do in just a couple of weeks. Imagine what it's going to look like down the road. So
and the other thing too is there was somebody had posted something about Jalen Watson, and indicating that he was out for the season. I think we've got that tweet. And he responded, Chiefs cornerback Jalen Watson insinuates that he's not out for the season like originally speculated. Watts Island is his Twitter handle, and he said, "Who said that?" So I've kind of heard the same thing, to be honest with you. But I like that Watts Island. That's pretty great.
I think it's interesting that he's responding to some randoms on Twitter about his health status.
If you are a Chiefs social media junkie,
yeah,
you will love the Chiefs' new wide receiver. He put his own highlight reel up on his Instagram page right after the game. But listen,
he's feeling it. He's got to be so. Could you imagine his delight?
Yeah,
at being stuck in Tennessee, which again, that was his own decision. So he's like, okay, I did this to myself. So, but now all of a sudden he's an undefeated team vying for a Super Bowl, playing with the best quarterback on the planet, maybe ever. And he's like the number one target, I think, moving forward. So he's just got to be ecstatic. And I don't know if I was early in making the statement or whatever, but my question immediately after he scored, he goes into the "Remember the Titans" thing. I'm like, was that a jab? I think he said it was his favorite movie, but it was kind of a little petty there, just kind of a dig.
He did clarify that, and he'd said that prior too. He said the same thing. He said, "I wasn't disrespecting Tennessee. I have a lot of love for them. Appreciate them." That's his favorite movie, and if he does that every single time,
that's just the way my mind works.
For football movies, it's definitely top 5.
For me, right at the top of the list, and just the fact that everybody joined in with him, and just the joy, and just like Patrick, just after the second touchdown was like, that might have been just a quick check with me at the line. They looked at each other and bang, the play gets hit.
Yeah.
And it's
like, you ain't done, old man. You ain't done. You still got it. It was just classic. The way that Mahomes has bonded with him so quickly is quite impressive. But I'll tell you, I think, going back and, taking a look at the game last night, I think that catch, that 31-yard between 2-3 defenders catch, for a guy who's got the size of hands that are like a 10 shoe.
Yeah, he's up there with like Larry Fitzgerald.
It was absolutely incredible, and I can't think of the last time we had a receiver like that. That Dwayne Bowe when he was on was really good at that kind of stuff, but the crowd, the response was just, it wasn't Dante-esque, returning doing that kickoff against the Broncos, but it was pretty loud and impressive, because I don't think there's a person in that stands when that ball left Mahomes. And listen, Hopkins was still 10 yards away from where the ball was going to go.
Oh, absolutely. And there was three white jerseys right there. And you're thinking, well, hopefully he can just like knock it away from the defenders. And the next thing you know, it's his, and we're at the 2 on the, knocking on the doorstep, like, okay, this is what we paid for. This is what we're looking for. And that's just it, is that you see, I see somebody like a Rashee Rice on that trajectory. Now, who knows if he ever gets there, but just that's would be like his end goal, right? To see Rashee grow into that type
role
of player. But the way that he has just stepped right in, and whatever. That was just it's just a little taste. And I think, again, as time goes on, his role will even expand in some way, and hopefully they can just kind of Juju comes in and kind of is that
that. He's gonna be
second, third guy. So it's just it was great to see.
Yeah, it was, it felt like Patrick finally has that guy, it felt like he finally has that number one receiver. He looked for him often. He made, and to his credit, Hopkins, there was only maybe a few snaps he ran the wrong play. And even in the successful long pass, he indicated that he was running the wrong route, but he just did what we keep telling him in practice. Just go. Just run toward the end zone.
Yeah, because initially it wasn't there, and then he just kind of saw it like, hey, I could just right down the seam here, and we got a shot. Kind of a subtle one to me was in the overtime when they were driving down for the touchdown. And I think it was, I don't know what it was, like 2nd and 8, 2nd and 9, whatever it was. And Patrick hits him on the sideline, and he does that kind of pivot spin where kind of he knew where the defense was exactly, immediate first down. So otherwise, you might be looking at a 3rd and 1 if he just like catches it and goes out of bounds.
Yeah.
But he makes that play. I mean, it's not going to show up in the scorebook or anything like that. But just the fact that he was able to just take that little, just nothing of a play, turn it into a first down, and now you're just rolling and the entire playbook's open. So, it's definitely heartening to see that kind of stuff. For a guy that's only been there for 10 minutes.
I'm going to answer a couple of questions real quick. Mr. Parrish, you guys think we can get someone tonight? Hey, the trade deadline ended at 3:00 Central Time. So no, the guy you're going to get is Isaiah Pacheco, who will probably play in the Raiders game, would be my guess. That's when he'll make his debut.
So, Mr. Paris, you have to clarify, is that defensive backfield or offensive backfield?
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah, no. Brian Hamilton, Nick, how long can I continue to start Hunt on my fantasy football team? Keep starting him until further notice. I will tell you when to put him on the bench.
When they say Pacheco is coming back. Now, again, I don't, it's not going to be, I think, immediately where they're going to just rush Pops in. I think, maybe the starter. No, I'm just saying for maybe a game or two, you'll see a little bit of a share and kind of working Pops back in. But at a certain point, I think Pops will then take over. And I don't think so. And then Hunt will get, Hunt's going to still get his 10, 12, 15 carries again, because that's when he was most effective in Cleveland. Now here so far, it seems like in the second half, when he gets to carry 20 plus, he is still like a bowling ball crushing. When they decide to go bully ball and just, hey, we're going to take over the line of scrimmage like they did in the second half, it's something to watch. Now, he's not explosive like he used to be, where you're getting those big runs, but they did get a 16-yarder out of him. But most of them are 3 yards, 4 yards, 5 yards, but it's just constant. So, so that's all interesting too. But going back to the question, I think Pops will certainly, have his share of the workload.
Yeah, I think so too. I think what was, Patrick Mahomes talked about it after the game. And he said, it's just, you grind it. It's 3 yards here, 4 yards here, 5, as you mentioned, 6. Just keep moving the ball and just playing, Marty ball. And I'm sure Marty's smiling down from heaven about how the Chiefs have just really become a running football team. And, they didn't run much. Andy talked about this. He didn't call enough running plays in the first half. I think that kind of bogged them down. I think they were trying to do too much. They were trying to focus on Xavier Worthy. And I think that's a work in progress, folks. It's going to take some time. I think when, Hopkins and Juju are both on the field and Worthy's out there, I think they're going to teach him a few things. But his, that play, he should have had a touchdown. He didn't know where he was on the field.
That was like just a lack of concentration, and just because the whole time you saw it, like in the replay, you didn't see it originally, but when they give you the end zone shot, and from the time he beat his man and the safety was way late getting over, he was just on a constant drift towards the sideline, which now you're not really doing Patrick any favors.
No,
by going that way. So, and again, going back to Aaron Rodgers and talking about Mike Williams, that's the red line in practice. That's about 5 yards off of the touch line or the out of bounds line, that basically it's not there on the regular field, but you just run down that sideline. So he has room. If he's got to put it back shoulder, there's room to put it there, or he's going to put it on you and he walks in. But the back toward, put his back to the end zone and not know where he was, that's just inexcusable.
Yeah, it's inexcusable. And he's a rookie, as Ruben says, he's definitely a rookie. Give him time and he'll figure it out. Some breaking news. The Giants have waived former Bill and Bengal cornerback Nick McLeod. I don't know that much about Nick McLeod, if he's any good or not, but I'm certain if the Giants waived him, probably not. Mike Edwards, the former safety, was also released today by the Bills. I would not be shocked if he's signing on the Chiefs practice squad tomorrow. I think he'd like to come back to Kansas City. But, getting back to Worthy, they've really tried to force feed him the ball since that big, long catch, in the Chargers game, and it just hasn't worked. I think he's got like 5 or 6 successful touches since then. A couple of the runs they've tried haven't worked. It to me, and I don't know how this makes sense, but it doesn't seem like he's utilizing his speed the way he should. Either he's going too fast to get to the sideline to catch a pass, or he's not running the route in order to track the ball properly. It's a combination of things, plus the fact that he's a rookie.
Yeah, well, to me, it just seems like he's a guy that's thinking more than playing when he's out there.
Exactly.
So
that's a better way to put it.
Whether it's just the route, and there's a lot to it, because a lot of the routes in the Chiefs offense it's up to you to kind of read the defense and the leverage of the defense, and that's where you're going to have to run it a certain way, and that's the way the quarterback is expecting you to, where you're expected to be. And if he's thinking a lot, and again, this takes time. We saw it last year with Rasheed, so maybe it's a little bit of the same thing. But in terms, again, going back to that particular play that should have been a touchdown, was just a lack of concentration, and it could still be, too much thinking and not enough reacting to what's out there. And then the end around, I mean, that's a pretty big dude, Diaby. Yeah. I mean, God bless Diaby for making the play.
Hey, he was a beast last night.
Patrick wasn't really going to make that block, but you would think that somebody that's like 5'10" or whatever he is and runs a 4.26 to be quick enough to get around a guy like that.
Well, he should have cut. He should have just
didn't
stopped.
Happen. Well, I'm not going to question that part of it, but he should somehow. You would think he could have maneuvered his way around that dude.
Yeah. Again, these are things that he's going to learn. And again, I mean, this team, the way they fought. I mean, if they'd have had that 7 points, is a completely different game. We're talking about a lot of things completely different today, and maybe they don't have the Hopkins show later in the game. I mean, it's all about how these games unfold. But the way the Chiefs came back, and John put a post up. It was impressive. They were down 14-10, then they punted. Tampa got a field goal, and the Chiefs were down 17-10. They leaned on the run game, tied the score. Instead of throwing and trailing, they ran. And again, this is the new way.
Yeah,
it's just the new way. And now they have Hopkins.
Yeah, play to the defense and run behind those 3 monsters in the middle of the offensive line.
Yeah, because I mean they had their hands tied with Vea last night. He was impressive. Yeah, the last time they played him in Tampa Bay, they just neutralized him completely.
And I think that's maybe what Andy going into the game. And I think I mentioned this on yesterday's show, was that they would try to maybe run outside a little bit more because of Kancey and Vea in the middle. And then finally they said, well, we don't really have anybody quick enough to get to the outside zone. So let's just play to our strength, our 3 guys in the middle in the second half. Maybe he's worn down, and Kancey and Vea still made their plays, and they got sacks from the inside, which is just mind boggling to me. But yeah, raise your hand. And I guess there was a lot of talk on all the shows this morning. Should they have gone for 2? Whatever, that was their choice. But raise your hand in the chat here, or you too, Nick, if you breathed a sigh of relief when you saw the kicker come on the field for the extra point.
I mean, I lived in Tampa, and I watched a lot of Bucs games, or in the Sarasota area. So the Bucs were the home team. I watched Todd Bowles, and I'm telling you, the guy's as conservative as you can get. He kind of felt like, they had the drive, they had the momentum.
He's a defensive coach. So
he's a defensive coach.
So you can go either way with that, but you just knew as soon as that happened, this dude's either going to miss the extra point, right? Or somehow the Chiefs are going to, and the other piece of it too is when they got down there and there was, I think, 30 seconds left. They kind of panicked and called a timeout.
Yeah, that was stupid.
Because you figure if they run the clock a little bit and just kind of massage the clock and score so you don't leave Patrick any time, because even if they get the 2, now all of a sudden you're giving it to Patrick with 27 seconds and 3 timeouts. Who's to say when they got the 4th and 1? Of course, you're going to go for it.
Sure.
Now. So, with those timeouts, Bucker, I don't care, rain or whatever, he's going to drill it. So, but to me, I was just like, okay, that's great. And then the best picture of the night was when Baker lost the toss, because he knew right there, warm up the bus. We're done. Right.
Yep. I want to post a couple comments here. Nick Slayman, I wish they'd gone for 2. The 2 cost him $4,500. All right, Nick, you're probably gonna have to start selling some of your Patrick Mahomes stuff. So
damn, Nick, what did you have, like a bet on the final score?
He must have had a bet on the points or the over under. So who knows? John Harrison, I thought they should have gone for 2 once they kicked. I thought Bucker would have gotten a chance to win it, and had the Mahomes under 250 yards. You lost that one too. Damn, dude. All right, talk to me next time before you make your Chiefs bets. All right, I'll try to help you out.
Well, I mean, given the way the year is gone, that's probably not a bad bet as far as Mahomes.
The defense was ranked 29th and 30th in giving up.
But it was good. It was good to see Patrick, kind of. Again, get in the flow. I mean, he was, I don't know, what was he, like 15 out of 17 at one point?
Yeah.
I mean, he was on one for a bit, and then just kind of that third quarter, for some reason, how many games it's been now? 0 points in the third quarter. It's been like 4 or 5 games in a row.
I mean, he was 34 for 44, 291.
Yeah.
He would have been over 300 if Worthy catches that ball. Instead of 3 touchdowns, he'd have 4. But I think the biggest thing in this game that I think we need to talk about, and it's been this way for 3 weeks in a row, the Chiefs are scoring touchdowns in the red zone.
Yeah.
And that can't be overlooked here. And if you look at
that's another kind of not in the statistics or scorebook is a D-Hop effect.
Yeah.
In the red zone is that you really have to pay attention now to Travis and D-Hop, and that opens up other things, including D-Hop himself. So that's encouraging that they don't have to go to trick plays to score.
Right, and so we spread the ball out. Kathy mentioned Kathy Welch, one of our subscribers. He got Hendershot the ball, and that was a big catch in that drive. And going back to the end of regulation, had DeAndre Hopkins turned around and been ready for that pass, he probably would have gotten them into field goal position. To win that football game. And again, that's something they're going to learn. It's something they're going to work on. Trust me, DeAndre Hopkins will not make that mistake again.
It kind of reminded me back, if you go back to the 13-second game when he hit, it was either Kelly or Tyreek. I mean, it was like Tyreek knew what was happening.
Right.
Obviously, a lot more time on task. So, like 2 steps off the line of scrimmage, and the next thing you know, he's 12 yards downfield. Timeout, and then the Kelsey catch. But that's that'll come with some time.
Yeah. So I think that the other interesting thing, and I'll listen. I kind of like it when we have the opportunity to kind of watch what the next day morning shows are, and to listen and watch to some of the banter. And the big thing this morning or today has been, well, the Chiefs are 8-0, but they're the luckiest 8-0 team. And then people are nitpicking about the fact that Jawan Taylor left, a second early on the play that ended up with Kelsey at the 1 yard line.
And that sounds like ESPN
so I think the best
take or
the best take on that was from Colin Cowherd. And I'm not a huge Colin Cowherd fan, but he said, listen, if people are complaining about the penalty, that means they hate you and that you're really good.
Yeah.
And so the Chiefs are the new England Patriots. I mean, this is just who they are. This is what they are. We've got opportunity with Patrick Mahomes in the beginning stages of the prime of his career. The chameleon effect that this guy has, the leadership he has, the desire and the will to win, it irritates fan bases. Because they don't have a quarterback like that. And when Mahomes went down, I did one of these and I thought he just ripped his Achilles. The way he grabbed that, I thought, oh, it's over. I'm just like, what else can happen? And I had this weird premonition that he was going to get hurt in this game about 3 or 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon. It just kind of fleeted at the top of my skull. It's all my fault. But, you know, and he needs help. He starts to walk on his own. He comes out of the tent, and it reminded me of the movie Heaven Can Wait when Warren Beatty is on the stretcher taking over the soul and body of the Los Angeles Rams quarterback, and he pops up and he leads them to victory. And that was the first thing that entered my mind when I saw him come back in the game.
So whose soul popped into Patrick's body?
I don't know. The Chiefs have a lot of ghosts at the quarterback position.
Maybe the Grim Reaper himself. So we got that.
The kid has 9 lives, and I love Danny's comments. You know, he's got the loosest ankles of anybody in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, all those weird things that his trainer has him doing, and the weird stretches and the weird movements and so forth. There's got to be something to it. I mean, the thing with the high ankle sprain, this injury here, hopefully it's not recurring. Hopefully, it's okay, knock on wood, and that it's not too, because I'm sure it's going to hurt him for a while. Right. It's not going to just go away. But the defense, actually, I don't know. I mean, I'm watching that game over again. You get the sense that Tampa really didn't run it well, but they ran it well enough.
Yeah.
They didn't really have many explosive plays down the field, but Baker was pretty efficient with it. So, I mean, Athan, we talked about him, the tight end, and then tight end scores the kind of like the tying touchdown. So that might still be something to nitpick, but at the end of the day, you're not going to, I mean, the other side gets paid too. Those guys play football as well. You're not going to win every game by 20 or 30 points. You don't like it to get to that point where they actually had a chance to win at the end. But once they won the toss, it was like, okay, they just go into a whole different mode. They're just like, it's just hard I would think for other fan bases to watch that, because it's just inevitable.
Yeah. I mean, and I think what was interesting about that last drive is, Spags finally put a little bit more pressure. He had done that in the series before.
It seemed like he was bringing them on a regular basis.
But you know what was it? But in the Bucs offensive line is a work in progress. I mean, they've got a left tackle, a right tackle starting at center. And in the early part of the game, the referees had to tell him, listen, quit bobbing your head or we're going to call that movement, and trying to work with him. And he did a better job. But I mean, even when the Chiefs were flying 6 and 7 guys in there, they weren't getting to Baker in that last drive.
Baker did a really good job of moving in the pocket and then getting out when he had to, because there were so many times it looked like he was dead to rights. Yeah. And somehow he escaped. So, kudos to him too. Yeah.
And I think the reason that they had to blitz him, was because Christian Rowan Wallace was kind of struggling a little bit. Joshua Williams he didn't have a good game. And I know Andy tried to throw some love, both those guys in the post game. Najee Johnson will be back this week. So that'll be good to get him back on the field. And hopefully he's okay from his concussion. And then they can work those guys into the rotation. It was great to see Jaden Hicks out there. He made a couple of big hits. So he's starting to get more reps. I think Justin Reed kind of slowed down a little bit in the game. I think that he needed some more rest.
He was on one early. I mean, if he comes down with that interception again, just another key part, not a key part of the game, but in retrospect, I mean, that could have been another 7-point swing.
The Chiefs left about 4, in my opinion, at least 1-2 touchdowns on the board. That first drive after the miss with Worthy, they were out of field goal range because Patrick got sacked. So, they definitely left at least 10 points at a minimum on the table. But, those are things that can work out, but they were great in the red zone. Another thing, too, is, what I thought was interesting, and Mango pointed this out during the game. I didn't really pay that much attention, but, Kingsley got some reps at left tackle, both on offense and special teams. And, I think that's a good sign. I think that's a good thing to do with him. You don't want him to sit there to be completely,
he's got to get the jersey dirty a few games. He's got to get some repetitions to show that he's learning, that he's growing a little bit. So,
yeah, definitely. And I think with Andy, he understands that they're going to need Kingsley at some point. The Wanya Morris, I thought, played really well yesterday, considering the fact that he was going, the interior rush of the Bucs was just creating a lot of problems, where you had all three guards kind of focus on, the two big rushers, and the Chiefs got beat a few times up the middle.
Yeah, but Vea and Cansey are real players. They really are. That's why I thought they were going to have a hard time running in the middle of the field. But once they put their minds to it, they just went up and said, "Hey, we're just going to put our best guys against your best guys, and let's see what happens."
Yeah, and Todd Bowles had, he had a good plan against the Chiefs. When the Chiefs struggled, their Bucs defense was playing great. It just wasn't until Patrick and started to figure some things out, and Andy made some changes, with the protections, and also made some changes in committing to the run. So again, that's what makes this team so good. And kind of what I was talking about before, where people were saying, the 8-0 thing, it's a facade, it's not real. It's stupid. They're 8-0, and
those are the types of shows that I swear to God, before the show starts, like 2 or 3 people get one script and the other people get a different script, and you can tell sometimes when they're trying to sell something that they really don't believe, because anybody that's paying attention sees that this team plays with like a championship mentality every single week.
Right.
And regardless of what the score is, and regardless of the fact that they're comparing this team or this version of the team or the way they play to maybe the Tyreek Chiefs, or when they were scoring 30, 40 points a game, it's just different. Again, they're more of a ball control team, even when they are passing it, play into the defense. And at the end of the day, you've got the best player on the planet with the ball in his hands at the end. Who else would you rather have? So
you put the ball in his hands. I mean, either way, it was a great win. The Chiefs are 8-0. They got the Broncos coming up on Sunday. We're gonna talk about this more tomorrow. We'll have our regular show on Wednesday at 1:30.
Yes.
We just wanted to come on today for a little bit on election day.
Show up and play along with Chief.
Yeah, talk about the trade deadline and talk about the Chiefs win. Hey, listen, Chiefs fans, enjoy it. They're 8-0. They're the best team in the. You got the best quarterback. You got the best tight end. You've got the best running back pound for pound in the interior, and you got D-Hop on your team. I mean, you just can't go wrong. Enjoy it. Juju Smith-Schuster will be back probably in 2 weeks when the Chiefs go to the Bills, and I think the Bills are the only team that are going to stand in the way of the Chiefs having a perfect season.
Easy there, Nick.
I know. I'm getting ahead of myself. All right. That's it for today. We're just doing a short show. So before we go, let's talk about our sponsors real fast. Eric Haynes with the Eric Haynes Group. If you're looking for a trusted real estate advisor, someone who can walk you through the process of buying or selling a house in the greater Kansas City area, give him a call at 816-729-3785, or you can email him at esellskc@gmail.com.
Proud sponsor of Chief Who?
Yeah. And if you're looking for a better health insurance option, give my wife Emily a call at 913-215-9086. Open enrollment is here. It began on November 1st. It will go through December 15th. So make sure if you've got a government plan, meaning an ACA, Obamacare plan, or you're looking for a private option, she has that for you. So just give her a call at 913-215-9086 for a custom quote. And that's right. And with the holidays coming up, if you need electronics, go to our newest sponsor, Resell Electronics. They buy and sell consumer electronics of all kinds, cell phones, tablets, computers, TVs, whatever you've got. Maybe you got something lying around. Maybe you want to turn some of that old stuff into cash. I'll tell you what, they got a great special for our listeners and for all the Chiefs Blitzers. If you go in and tell them that Chiefs Blitz sent you, they'll give you a 10% discount on your entire order, which is great news. 2 locations, Nolan Road and 40 Highway in Independence. Call them at 816-886-7285, or you check out their website at resellwithacelectronics.com.
Resell.
All right, Lou, appreciate you coming on for a short time today. Everybody enjoy the chaos tonight. And
enjoy the chaos.
Just pretend you're watching a Chiefs game.
We are your OWGs of the Kansas City Chiefs kingdom. Let's go.
Again, vote. And I'll be glad when I don't get any more texts.
Vote early, vote often. Let's go.
See all these commercials. So let's just get back to some normalcy here. All right, guys. Peace out. We appreciate it. Mango, thanks for running the board today. We'll be back tomorrow at 1:30 with the rest of the guys, with Hense and the coach, and we'll talk about getting ready for Broncos week and a few other tidbits from the world of the NFL. Take care, everybody.
Peace.